Okay, so today I am at the Proton HQ to check out the new 2025 Proton X70 facelift. So let's turn you guys around and show you the car. 你阿媽咩 facelift 喎，咪一樣。Okay lah, jokes aside, right? What's different here from the back? Looks exactly the same as the pre-facelift model, but Proton has subtly reprofiled the rear bumper to make the dark part look thicker. So the idea is that it is to reduce the visual height of the car, to improve its proportions, to make it look less lanky and make it look more dynamic. But otherwise, the rear end of the car, which previously also, well, there was not much to fault with, remains largely the same. Okay, now you come to the side. First thing that comes to attention are the new wheels. These are the 19-inch wheels that come with the two higher spec models, namely the Premium as well as the Premium X. Right, lower models get 18-inch wheels. This in fact looks like a more refined design of the earlier 18-inch wheels that were used on the executive model in the pre-facelift version. Okay, the major change in terms of styling comes at the front, where the fender, the bonnet is different, bumper of course is different, and this is completely new reinterpretation of the X70's front end. And it's amazing to think that the X70 now is a 7-year-old car. Okay, this was the car that spearheaded, that sparked the start of Proton's partnership with Geely. Okay, back then, Dr. Lee Chun-rong remarked that the X70 was the basis on which he intends to rebuild the Proton brand. And it's difficult to argue against the fact that the X70 has truly succeeded in that endeavor. Right? Over 100,000 units sold both in Malaysia as well as abroad. So the pre-facelift X70 pioneered the new look Protons, and the facelift here now takes the styling to a completely new direction. So the famed ethereal bow grille has now been transformed. It's now enlarged, and basically this follows the CI that was first introduced in the X90, then made it to the S70 sedan, and now retroactively applied to the X70. The headlights now are thinner, okay, thinner slit, but it looks more advanced. There are 47 LED elements inside here, so it looks more advanced compared to that of the pre-facelift model. But that being said, the overall look of it, I actually much prefer the pre-facelift model. Okay, so down here they have refined the lower edges of the bumper, and I particularly like how here the satin chrome trim, it meets this black line here, so there is that, you know, touch of detail on the front end design. Okay, now don't be fooled by the engine cover. Despite its placement, this is still the same 1.5 liter transverse mounted 3-cylinder engine as before. Outputs are rated at 177 horsepower, 255 newton meters of torque, driving the front wheels through a 7-speed DCT. So unlike the pre-facelift model, there is no option for all-wheel drive at the moment. So there are a total of 4 variants on sale. The display unit that you see here, this is the premium model. There's a higher grade Premium X model that gets all the same stuff as you feature here in the Premium. It's just the addition of a sunroof. Hey, sorry, my apologies. This is the Premium X model. This is the Premium X model with a sunroof inside. So this one gets the full ADAS package, Napa interior. Okay, Android Auto and Apple CarPlay is now standard across the range. So you see here, you get powered tailgate, retractable tonneau cover, and as we have remarked before, the X70's boot, despite the vehicle size, is not very big. Okay, relative to its rivals, the X70's boot is actually rather small. Okay, but still, the addition of power tailgate on the X70 I think is welcome, because one of the most popular aftermarket enhancements amongst owners of the X70 is the addition of a power tailgate system. So underneath here you can see there's a space saver spare tire. Okay, I like how the boot floor, the way it folds, it split folds. Okay. So as you can see up here, it's a full panoramic sunroof here in the Premium X model. The other model options are the Executive and the Standard. Okay, so one of the major changes in terms of the finishing of the car is that Proton has dropped the previous brown interior and replaced it with this color called stone gray. So you have this decorative stitching element here, speaker panel here. Okay, this is all Napa leather, so it feels nice to the touch. Now, I much prefer the previous brown Napa leather finish, to be honest. But well, it is what it is. So I'm 170 centimeters tall. Great lean angle behind me. Okay, got a fabulous headroom, and yeah, it's very comfortable place being in here. And show you the leg room is fantastic. Okay, and the thigh support is great. Okay, so here you can see here in the Premium X model, you've got this adjustment switches for the seats here, rear air con vents, USB and USB-C port, plus a little insertion tray here to put your phone. Now, a major update comes at the front, where now the instrument panel, the digital instrument cluster, has been updated in terms of its UI, not unexpected. Steering now flat bottom design as seen in the S70. Here in the middle, the touchscreen is now enlarged, and it has this floating appearance. So down there, but good thing is they still retain the physical air conditioning. Okay, the gear selector is down here, drive mode selections here, as well as the electronic parking brake, auto hold, and stability control off. Right, so sliding lever here, and also inside here another storage compartment. Now, this is of course a major aesthetic update from the predecessor model. I'm still divided about it, but Proton just now mentioned that there are 72 variable ambient lighting colors. Right, so it's going to be quite a light show inside this car when it's in the dark, right? So very subtle, unsurprising updates of the cabin. The X70, as it was already a convincingly premium feeling product. So Proton did not need to make drastic changes to the interior. Okay, of course, it's always good to give the car an exterior refresh to keep it up to date against rivals, add some new equipment, and which they did. Now, the touchscreen there, the infotainment system there, has Android Auto and Apple CarPlay across the range. All right. So here you can see as well, there's a 360-degree camera system for the premium model, right? So that concludes the walk around section of this video, and after this we'll be adjourning to the track. Now, amidst all this talk on removing fuel subsidies, one thing's for sure, cost of living is going to go up. So most of us are going to have to learn to control our expenses in these trying times. But it is just as important that we find ways to increase our income. So what if there's a way that in one stroke, without borrowing or withdrawing money from your EPF account, we can find a way to reduce your debt and build a business to increase your income? So if you're interested to know more, join me in a free business discovery webinar that will show you exactly how to achieve that. Now, as a disclaimer, the intention of this webinar is not to sell you anything. It's not a loan, and neither is it any form of financial advice. What has happened is that I have come to know a team of very qualified individuals in the area of helping people create breakthroughs in the area of finance, and I'd like you to take a look at this opportunity. So to register your interest, fill in the Google form in the description section. We'll be in touch. And now, back to the video. Okay, so now we are on the test track, and the first exercise will be the Stagger Gate, right? And taking off from standstill. So earlier on, I was given a demo run where I was riding shotgun. Now I'm behind the wheel. Now, first thing that impresses me with the X70 is the takeoff acceleration of the 1.5 3-cylinder engine is pretty strong. And well, there was quite a bit of body roll going around that bend, but it is well managed. All right, go on. All right, so we're going through the Stagger Gate, basically like a slalom course, right? So you can see the handling. This is to show the handling sharpness of the X70. Right. So it's tidy, it's competent, not outright sporty, but it steers sharply and accurately enough that, you know, in an emergency situation, this car, it keeps you in control. It doesn't have the same kind of sporty flavor of Protons of old, but the important thing is, as a family car, this is competent. And the power delivery of this 1.5 litre 3-cylinder engine, as much as I have doubts over the longevity of a 3-cylinder engine, I cannot argue with the refinement that it feels. Okay, right, so that concludes my stint here, and now I move to the next station. Apa enhancement ada kat in this X70 compared to the preface?
Instead of using camera and radar, now using camera only.
Fully camera based.
Fully camera based.
Satu kamera saja kan?
Yes.
Okay.
Front radar dah tak ada dah.
Then function wise?
Function wise, kita ada tambah rear side radar system, RSRS.
Rear side radar.
Kalau dulu RSRS, LCA tak ada.
Oh.
RCTA tak ada. RCW tak ada. Yang ada hanya di OW saja dulu.
Oh, okay. Rear collision warning sebelum ni tak ada.
Ni tak ada.
Oh, tapi ada door open warning dah ada lah.
Ni dulu dah ada. Lepas tu kita ada yang ni TSI.
Traffic sign info.
Dulu tak ada.
Okay. Tapi yang lain semua sama lah.
Lepas tu satu lagi yang ICC stop and go lah sekarang.
Oh, dah ada stop and go sekarang.
Yeah.
Okay. Awesome. Alright.
So, saya nak audience feel yang stages punya braking tu.
Okay.
So kalau dah ready, dah.
Okay.
Okay, X70 AEB go.
So you sekarang speed 40. 40. Aku kena pegang kamera dua tangan ni. Ui! Okay.
Okay, that's it.
Is it dia memang patut brake lambat macam tu ke macam mana?
Memang itu sebab setiap collision dia ada bergantung kepada TTS dia, time to collision. So sistem yang akan calculate bila kereta tu akan start brake.
I see.
Kalau kita bawa 80, dia akan brake awal lagi lah. So ini dia brake distance-nya braking berdasarkan 40 punya speed.
I see.
Alright.
Okay, so sekarang ni dia memang betul-betul lekat. So nanti bila saya masuk R, saya nak audience feel kereta tu dilepaskan daripada cengkaman brake ni.
Okay.
So tu.
Okay. Alright. So we are on the track, alright, to test the new X70's high speed behavior. Right, so approaching the famous bank of the Proton test track. Alright, stability of the X70, as we all know, is commendable. It's commendable. So at no point do I feel any jitters or instability. And now as I'm going past 120 kilometers per hour, right, starting to get a bit of wind noise from the A-pillars, which is entirely normal, right? So taking this bank turn, 120 kilometers per hour. Alright, so there's some imperfections on the surfaces which the suspension, I would say, copes admirably. Alright, so in preserving the composure of the car. Right? But then again, I have to stress that there is no tuning to the suspension that was done, at least that's what I'm told. Proton did not make any adjustments to the suspension tuning. They did improve fuel efficiency by 4%, but suspension tuning remains the same as before. Alright, so that concludes our quick experience with the newly facelifted Proton X70. Well, it would seem that most of the changes to this car has been on the cosmetic rather than the technical, because from what I can tell, this car feels the same to drive as the X70 as I remembered it, for better or for worse, which is not an entirely bad thing, because the X70 as it wasn't a terrible car to drive anyway. So maintaining where it was seems like a pretty sensible decision on Proton's part. So as they say, why tinker too much with a winning formula anyways? My concluding remarks now, as I record this video, prices have not been announced yet. I'm not expecting it to increase, if at all, or increase significantly, right? It should still stay at the similar bracket as same price bracket as it currently is. The big question is the front end, okay, of this car. What do you think of the front end? Personally, I like the pre-facelift look better than this one, but I do have to admit that this new appearance has a more muscular nature to it, all right, especially with the enlarged grille and also the flared bonnets. Very funny, right? They have the V8 bulges on the bonnet. Under the bonnet there is a 3-cylinder engine. Okay, but yeah, overall X70, if I were to sum it up, same old with a new face.